ever seen.
Hello everybody, welcome to Let's Talk Racing. Tonight you got myself, Roger Brehm, Matt Mullins, and Joe Scarbrough hanging in there tonight. How's everybody doing?
Well,
I'm doing great. How are you, Rod? How's everybody out there in Internet TV land?
We got to figure this out. You got to reset your camera here.
Why? I know where you're at.
You got all this new fancy equipment,
No, it's actually bigger than what you see.
Oh, okay.
That's what...
See the little ones up in the upper left corner?
Oh, upper right. Okay, up there.
Your other left.
So looking at the little screen in the middle, you guys can't really enjoy this stuff at home, but yeah, we're having like... I don't know, is this technical or personal difficulties?
This is personal difficulties.
It's got the little screen in the middle, and we're... no.
It's... yeah, we got to get used to this.
So let's talk about racing and not about racers' issues with technology.
Yeah, that seems to be the problem here. What are we going to talk about?
Well, come on, we just crowned a new Sprint Cup champion. Congratulations to Kevin Harvick.
And Stuart Haas.
And Stuart Haas,
that was huge for Stuart
Really,
Haas.
just as happy to see that happen for Tony Stewart as I was to see that happen for Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Harvick,
Really, because Tony needed some good things this year. He really did.
He did. He had a rough year. And Kevin's been running good. So, yeah, kudos to him and that whole crew. Rodney Childress, first championship. So, that's a plus.
I don't think Ryan Newman's ever been so close.
Yeah, no, he's like third 3 times, I think is what I heard at one time.
Yeah, very consistent and solid.
So, but you know what? Kudos to that team. They ran great all year long. And for them, if Harvick would have fell out and Newman would have even finished second and won that whole championship without winning a race.
Now, when is the last time you remember somebody winning a major series championship without winning a race? Anyone? Anyone?
David. I want to say David.
I remember
Pearson
Tom Sneva winning an Indy Series back in like the 70s.
with
That's
winning
the last
one
guy
race.
I can remember. And he was running, I think it was a Penske car. It was one of the old Norton cars, the old blue and white cars.
I was thinking that David Pearson won like a NASCAR championship with one race.
One win?
One win, yeah.
Well, you got one.
I know he won.
You got one win, you know. So
you know what?
That takes him out of the category of not winning, but winning.
Right. We get Al Pearce on here. I bet Al would know.
Master of statistics.
Hey, ready?
Butch Lassiter won at Langley with only one race.
Right,
won a championship.
Right.
That, on the local level.
I only won one this year. Championship.
Yeah. So I mean, it's possible. NASCAR set this format.
Do you remember how to do the phone?
No.
Push the line that's blinking, then push speaker.
Okay.
Speaker.
Now, do we look at the blinking red light?
I did. I did exactly what you said to do.
There's Al.
Is this Al?
Yeah.
What
Hi,
are you
Al.
doing?
Get Joe Scarbrough and Matt Mullins in here with us.
I'm here. Yeah, go ahead.
How you doing tonight?
I'm fine. I'm home, which is good.
Yeah. Are you going out to the big show?
What big show?
In Vegas?
Oh, hell no. No. I used to go, I went to all the New York banquets. I hadn't gone to any of the Las Vegas banquets.
Yeah. How was things down in Homestead?
Well, it was a pretty good race, I thought. I thought it ended up just kind of like NASCAR wanted it to. I think they were very lucky that a guy who had not won a race didn't win the championship. I think, you know, the 4 guys who were contending for the championship ran right with each other pretty much all night. I mean, they were always generally within 2 or 3 positions, or 3 or 4 positions. If Logano had that bad pit stop, he might have won it. If there had not been as many restarts and late cautions, Hamlin might have won it. So, but I think NASCAR was happy that a winless driver did not win the championship.
Do you want to add? We were just having a discussion. Had Newman won the championship, when was the last time you can remember someone winning a championship without winning a race?
Nobody ever has.
What's the least amount of wins that somebody has had and won a championship?
1.
Who did it?
Oh, been a bunch of guys. Kenseth did it with 1. Parsons did it with 1.
Billy Parsons.
Ned Jarrett did it with 1, and I think the second champion in 1950, a guy by the name of Bill Rexford, I think, won with 1. But I think there were 4. I think Newman would have been the 5th if he had done it, but it's happened before.
Yeah, I was thinking David Pearson had one for some reason.
championships with Holman Moody and Bud Moore. They won a bunch of races.
But didn't he win a championship with 3 different car owners?
I think he won.
Pearson or Yarbrough? Somebody, I remember hearing this. Yeah.
It was either Pearson or Yarbrough.
No, Pam won all 3 hits with the same person, with Junior Johnson.
Okay.
Pearson won with Holman Moody.
No, 3 different car owners in the same year.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the answer for you.
Oh.
Stop interrupting it.
For Holman Moody, but they did not run the full schedule, and he may have driven for a couple of years. Also, I think he won one with Bud Moore. I don't know if Bud Moore might have been the guy that he shared a ride with, but Pearson may have won it with 2 or 3. I don't know, but I know that nobody has won a championship with just 1 win. I mean, 4 guys have done it with 1 win. Nobody's done it with no wins, and NASCAR did not want it to happen this time. I talked to a guy today who I have a lot of respect for, or I have a lot of respect for until today.
Here it comes.
Here it comes. Go on.
Keep going. You started it.
This guy claimed that NASCAR had gotten to the 24 team and told them, we don't want you to win the race because you're not in the chase, and we want you to pit or do something. And I told the guy, I said, you're out of your mind. Are you telling me that Jeff Gordon would take a dive, that he would not win the last race just because NASCAR didn't want him to? That's ridiculous.
Okay, I agree with you. I don't think he would intentionally do that.
And the other point was, Jimmy Johnson won Texas, and he was not in the chase at the time. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. won Martinsville, and he was still not eligible at the time. So the fact that a guy was not eligible for the championship did not mean he was going to take a dive just so NASCAR would not have a non-chase guy when be on the big stage. So
I heard him say it once, and they only said it once on the broadcast, that those guys, your Jeff Gordon and your other guys, was still racing for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. There was still a points race going on.
Yeah, of course it was.
So yeah, for Gordon to win that race or be, in that top 5, that could have been a difference between 6th, 7th, and 8th. And there's usually like $1 million split between all of them.
Well, I don't think, I've been doing this a long time, and I don't know that drivers these days even think about money like that. I think they think about trophies and championships. I don't think Jeff Gordon will think, if I finish 5th, I'll win $1 million more than if I finish 4th.
No, I know.
I did think.
And the other thing is, Gordon desperately, I know this for a fact, we've talked about it, he and I, Gordon desperately wants to get to 100 wins.
Yeah.
He's right now, he's got, I think, 96 or 7, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the best year he's had in a long time, and I think Jeff Gordon wants to get to 100 so desperately that you couldn't talk to him out of winning. If you offered him $10 million not to win, he'd probably still try to win.
Yeah, I figured it was just he was trying to draw people to go pit with him, or they just were off cycle just a little bit. He didn't do it.
I thought they gambled by not pitting and holding the track position, and then realized that it wasn't going to pay out.
Well, yeah, they should have picked the time they didn't, and
right.
They should have pitted the time they did.
Right. And I think when they finally did decide to make that pit stop that they should have made earlier, I think it was kind of a we don't have what it takes to win, and kind of a screw second attitude, if you will. And there may have been some factor in there that you're going to be in the middle of the chase guys, and you really don't have what it takes to win at this point. So pit and take a shot.
I don't know, but it stunned me that this friend of mine suggested that NASCAR got the word down to that team that we don't want you to win the race because you're not a chase guy.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they did that. Not intentionally. I don't think there was nothing like that done. There's no way.
No, magazine today saying that for now, and now is all that matters. Right now, Brian Frank's got it right. I mean, this new deal is absolutely spot on right now. And whether it'll be spot on a year from now or 2 years from now, or whether they change it for next year, I don't know. But right now, Brian France can basically tell all the critics and cynics, sit down and shut up.
Do you think? Well,
because they had a great final race.
Yeah.
The four guys racing for the championship put on a great show among each other, racing each other. They were up front all night long, and they finished 1-2.
Yeah.
2-6, I believe. And if Logano had not had trouble, I believe if Logano had not had trouble, they'd have finished probably, all four would have finished probably in the top 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, they were there pretty much all night.
Yeah. They were, at one time they were like, you know, 1st through 4th and 2nd through 5th,
Yeah.
and you know they all were in the top 8. I think all night.
Almost all night.
Almost all night.
It took him a while to get there, but once he got there, he stayed there.
Yeah, yeah. Once Newman came through, he was the only one. So, what do you think of Kevin Harvick being the champ? Now, they've worked hard, and in my opinion, he's deserving. But with this new chase format, do you think he was really deserving of it?
Well, I mean, he won 5 races. Gano won 5, and he made the chase. Keselowski won 6 and didn't make it. Gordon won 4 and didn't make it. Newman didn't win any, and Hamlin won 1. So, you know, I always tell people, everybody started the Daytona 500 on the exact same level playing field. You knew exactly what the rules were. If you didn't want to try to win, you would try to get the best finish you could. All this hoopla about points won't matter this year, that went out the window pretty quickly. I mean, everybody knew that you weren't going to have you probably weren't going to have 16 winners. So you knew that there would be some guys making the chase field who did not have any wins. In fact, there were 3 of them. Well, Biffle, Kendrick, and Newman.
And Newman, yeah.
None of them won a race, and they all made the chase. Well, hell, you know, 2 of them went down to the next to the last race. You know, where things had played out. Kendrick and Newman could have advanced at Phoenix, but didn't. Well, Newman did, Kendrick didn't. So, you know, you still had a fourth of the field, a fourth of your championship contenders did not win a race. It could have been half of them. I don't think NASCAR likes that, but they can't do much about it right now. And so, yeah, I mean, I think if you play by the rules, Newman would have been worthy. Because he did it the way it was set up to be done.
He ran consistent enough, and he did well enough.
And the rule said if you're top 16 in point, in other words, if you can make the chase with no wins, you're welcome to it. We hope you don't do it, but if you do, well, okay, we'll let you in. And we hope you don't make it beyond the first round. We hope you don't make it beyond the second round. We hope to hell you don't make it to Homestead. But if you do, you do. So
it's like a wild card team in a Super Bowl. I thought it made it exciting.
Yeah,
everybody loves an underdog.
I mean, Major League Baseball's had wild card World Series winners all the time, and Super Bowl champs have been wild cards all the time.
They did it this year. Wild card. Right. The Giants and the Royals were both wild cards going in.
But those people beat somebody to get there.
Right.
Newman didn't beat anybody.
Well,
no. He beat people individually. He never won an event.
Well, yeah, exactly. He had the consistency to be there every single week.
Well, that's like saying, I mean, would you expect the New England Patriots to make the Super Bowl if they went 8-8 every year? That's consistent, or 9-8. Say what 9-8.
9-8, yeah.
Consistent, but you didn't, or 9-7. You're consistent, but you don't win very many.
Right.
So I think, again, to get back to the original point, NASCAR is delighted that a guy won the champ. And I'll tell you what, I asked Dale Jarrett this in a press conference on Saturday. I said, how will you people at ESPN handle it tomorrow night if the champion is Ryan Newman and a guy with 5 wins or 4 wins, and say, for example, Logano finishes third in the race and Newman finishes second, and Gordon wins the race, and the champion has got no wins. A 5th place, a second place in points has got 5 wins. How do you explain that to the American public? How do you tell them on SportsCenter at 10 o'clock Sunday night, okay, here's Ryan Newman, he's our champion, he didn't win a race. And here's Joey Logano, he's second this year, he won 5 races. And over here is Brad Keselowski, he won 6 races, he didn't even get to play for the championship.
Yeah.
How do you explain that to your listeners and your viewers? And you know what he said? He said, that's the same question we've been asking ourselves in meetings all week. We have been trying to figure out in our production meeting, how do we deal with a winless champion and a 5-race guy who is not a champion, meaning Logano, and how do we explain that Keselowski, who won the most races, isn't even eligible for the championship?
Ugly Duckling 101.
Well, but again, and I wrote just in my story today from my magazine that Brian France had a press conference on Friday in which he said that he kind of changed his tune from last January. He told us Friday, he said, well, we feel like winning and consistency are equally important. And if, you know, we're not going to deny a man a chance for a championship because he's consistent. Well, I remember distinctly back in January in Charlotte when they announced this new format, they never said a thing about consistency.
They said they were emphasizing on winning.
Right. This is what he said.
Yep.
Winners are going to be everything. Wins will mean everything. There'll be no more days when drivers can say, I had a good points day. Well, hell with that. They're all saying, you don't think they had good points day? You don't think Ryan Newman didn't say at Phoenix, I had a good points day? His points day was good enough to get him in the chase by 1.
Taking the championships out of this.
I'm sorry?
Taking the championships out of this. Did it make better racing? This new chase format? Did you think it did?
You know, I don't know. I mean, they talked about their drivers were more intense. There was more volatility. There were more last lap passes. There were more fights and all. But I told somebody, you know, if I remember a fight at the end of the Daytona 500 in 1979.
Yeah.
37 years before the chase ever got invented. So don't tell me that the tensions were not high at Daytona that year. I saw Ricky Rudd and Kevin Harvick getting a fight at Richmond one year.
Jeff Gordon and Jeff Burton at
before the chase was ever part of this.
Yeah.
Or they weren't
Jimmy
even
Spencer every
at
week.
the time. So I don't know that I buy NASCAR's contention that it brought more tension, more stress, more excitement, more anything, because we've seen those same things all through the years.
Right.
Now, the drivers will tell you that they felt the pressure, that their team felt the pressure, and their owners and sponsors felt the pressure. And you know, you can't look at them in the eye and call them liars. You don't know if that's true or not, but you figure, why would they not feel more stress? For example, you know that Ryan Newman on the last 2 laps at Phoenix 2 weeks ago, you know that Newman had to have been thinking, I got to get by Kyle Larson one way or the other, or I'm not going to make the chase.
Yeah, he had already planned 8 tires getting him through that last corner. He planned that two laps before. I
was going to ask you that, Al. Did you think
when he had made that move? If it had been just a regular race and nothing was at stake,
no.
Probably would. If you can move a guy coming for the flag without wrecking him, yeah, you'll move him a little bit.
Okay, what's the difference from what Newman did than what happened with Keselowski the week before?
I think Gordon really showed a little bit of immaturity when he claimed that, you know, there's no reason in the world that Gordon could not have backed out of that hole and conceded that position knowing if I finish third, I'm going to make the chase. At that point, all he had to do was finish third and have a decent night, and he would probably, because he finished, I think the week before at Martinsville, did he finish second at Martinsville?
Yeah, he finished real well.
The
race before Texas was
Talladega?
where they were. Anyway, I think Gordon made too much over nothing. Richard Petty looked me in the eye at Phoenix, and I was talking to Richard about Keselowski, about has he made more enemies in a shorter period of time than anybody ever did. And he said, well, Big Dale didn't make a lot of friends early on, but he said, and let me tell you something, he said, Keselowski did not do a thing at Texas but what he was supposed to do. Gordon gave him an opening, and Keselowski got in there, and Gordon tried to close the door. And if Gordon had just stayed where he was and let Keselowski go, you had 2 laps, you might still pass at least one of them to finish second. But you didn't need to close that door like he did. He said Gordon basically screwed himself.
It just sounds like
I think he was more embarrassed that he actually left a big enough hole for him to get in there.
And maybe that's Patty's opinion. And
Yeah.
Richard, I kind of think he knows what he's talking about in most cases. So, and I think if Gordon had finished second, you look at he also finished second at Phoenix. Now, he didn't know he was going to finish second at Phoenix, but if Gordon had just thought for a second, if I come home in a top 5 position, I'm in pretty good position to advance to Homestead.
It sounds like the sore loser kind of thing with that whole deal.
And, that really surprised
My opinion
me.
differs on this, so I'm not going to start an argument.
I've been around him a lot, and I don't know that he whines as much as people says he does. He sounds like he's whining just when he's talking sometimes, because he's got that nasal voice to him. But I think he got so upset at what he realized. He may have realized he screwed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think all he wanted to do, I really think all he wanted to do was to talk to Keselowski one-on-one and say to him in so many words, you didn't need to do that, I'd have given you this, or whatever. But when Harvick went over there and pushed Keselowski and started the fight, that made Gordon look even worse, because Gordon did not start the fight. He didn't go over there to start a fight. He went over there to talk to Keselowski. And they were having a perfectly sane conversation until Harvick did his deal. So
Harvick just said, you ain't walking away from this one, go talk to him. And that's when the whole...
But see, it wasn't Harvick's fight, though.
Well, no, I agree with that.
Yeah, he really had no business in it. It's like somebody says, like a third-grade girl pushing another girl into another girl and then stepping away and watching them fight.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to get cut off here in a minute, but I've got one thing I want to talk to you about, and I'm going to talk to you about this as a reporter, and I want your opinion, okay?
Okay.
I don't want to talk about the incident. I think this incident has been beat to death. But a lot of the media was really hard on Tony Stewart this year.
Well, no, you're wrong. Some media who don't know what they're talking about.
Exactly, and I'm sorry. I want to rephrase that.
You can't call those people who do TMZ type shows. You can't call those people respect. You can't call them journalists. They're entertainers, and it's their job to. It's like Nancy Grace. You can't really call Nancy Grace a reporter or a journalist. She's an entertainment person. The hardcore or the legitimate, I don't mean to say hardcore, the legitimate people who cover motorsports knew right off the bat that Tony didn't do a thing wrong. The kid probably killed himself. I hate to say it, but he probably killed himself.
I agree.
I think the basic NASCAR journalists and motorsports journalists, the respectable, responsible journalists who know the sport, never really threw Tony under the bus like other people did.
Exactly, and that's what I was trying to get at. I wasn't, No,
I understand what you're saying. But
the subject matter experts saw what was going on, and the drama queen spun it up.
There was a segment of the entertainment medium or the headline-grabbing TMZ screaming heads that said he killed a young man, why they let him race, yada, yada, yada. Well, there were people in the grandstands who immediately tweeted out that I saw Tony turn into him, I saw him kill him, and Tony tried to kill him, and he ought to be, just stupid stuff like that. And then for the kid's aunt to say later that, well, they shouldn't have even released the drug test information, that doesn't matter, it's not a big deal, yada, yada, yada. Well, let me tell you something. If Tony had been tested, and he wasn't, and Tony had been found to have something in his system, which I doubt he ever would, that aunt would have thought it was the biggest thing in the world, and she would have wanted that to be a headline.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Because it was her nephew, she thought that was not an important part of the story.
Right.
You can't have it both ways.
Right.
You can't have it both ways. And I think that as things played out, as cooler heads prevailed over a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or until the DA had his deal, as things calmed down and people looked at that video time and time again, I think those of us who respectfully follow the sport and care about it exonerated Tony completely. And they say, well, the kid had on a dark suit, you couldn't see him, the track was dark. Well, you could see him too. He had a white piping down the side of his uniform. Well, the track is not well lit. Well, if it's lit well enough to race on, it's lit well enough to run under caution on. You know, it's just, you know, every argument that I heard from people who don't know anything about the sport, those arguments were easily trumped by the facts.
Right.
And nobody wanted to bring up the facts that he's done this before. He's a hothead. That doesn't mean we don't. We all grieve that he's dead, but don't try to convict an innocent man for not doing anything wrong. The kid basically killed himself.
Well, and that's kind of what I was getting at. You know, it's like NBC brought a lawyer on, and Fox Sports brought a lawyer on and said, you know, this ought to happen and that ought to happen. You know, and I haven't had a chance to even talk to you or anybody else about this, but you know, boy, he really got jabbed really bad, and I feel bad for Tony on that part.
Well,
you know,
I noticed a number of times that Ricky Craven of ESPN talked about it, and he was as sensible and as measured and as intelligent and as thoughtful and logical as anybody. So ESPN had people on who approached it from a very professional angle. Other networks who don't cover this stuff. Now, I'm sure Fox Sports had a guy come on, and he may have said, well, there's got to be an indictment, there's got to be a jury trial, yada, yada.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. Now, there will be I'm sure there'll be a civil case at some point in time.
oh yeah,
You know the family's going to ask for a lot of money, and Tony's going to pay it, or Tony will make a donation to some charity in the kid's name, or he'll set up a scholarship fund. It'll be much easier to do that, and it'll kind of keep it from getting back into a big bonfire situation. But Tony really has no obligation at all.
no, none whatsoever. Yeah.
No, he was the victim there.
Yeah, he's not obligated to apologize to anybody except that, I'm sorry, the young man's dead. And don't tell me that Tony roughed him up on the racetrack. Sprint car racing, I mean, my God, everybody roughs up everybody. It just so happened this kid spun out. If he stayed in his race car where he belonged,
It would have never happened.
this conversation. Exactly right.
Right.
Now, on that, and this is two different incidents, and I'm going to bring it up, but they brought out, do you think this Kurt Busch deal should be played out in the press, or should the press stay out of this?
Well, no, I mean, you can't deny it. I mean, just because it's, you know, whether Kurt did it or not, I mean, right now nobody knows. It's a he said, she said. But there's no way if he's involved in any kind of domestic situation, it's fair game for the media. There's no difference in what Kurt is alleged to have done and what Ray Rice did to his girlfriend in the elevator in Atlantic City.
Okay, that's true. But
a stock car racer versus an NFL player, and the great American public doesn't care a rat's ass about racing in relation to football. So there are those of us in the media who will have to cover it because it's part of our beat. Adrian Peterson has been suspended from the NFL all year and losing a ton of money for switching his kid with a tree branch. Well, you can't ignore that stuff. As soon as something lands on a police blotter, as soon as something lands on a court docket, it becomes public information. And for the media to not pursue it, it puts them in a bad light. Well, you're covering up for so-and-so. You're not, I mean, not Jim France,
Brian France.
and Jim France's son, his son races sports cars that used to. Anyway, the France family have been in trouble in Daytona Beach a number of times, speeding, reckless driving, drunk driving, leaving the scene, all this kind of stuff. The media covers it down there because they are public figures. And when it gets on a police blotter or shows up in court, you got to deal with it. I mean, Woodward and Bernstein did not go to Watergate just because it was some unknown people who were breaking into the Watergate. It became obviously one of the biggest political stories in history because somebody said, go to the courthouse, we don't know what this is all about, check it out. And it went from there. We have got to, when I say we, I mean the legitimate motorsports media, we have got to keep up with the Kurt Busch thing because it's out there in public, and if we don't do it, we'll be accused of either bias or favoritism or whatever, or not doing our job. I mean, Travis Quaffle got caught beating his wife 2 years ago, and it became a court issue, and it was covered as a criminal court issue. When Kyle Busch got caught speeding in that Toyota he got maybe 2 or 3, 4 years ago, that was covered when...
That was Kyle, wasn't it?
Yeah, I said Kyle, yeah.
Okay.
I said Kyle, yeah. When Kyle was busted speeding 100 and something in his some kind of Toyota prototype they gave him, you know, it was covered and he admitted it and it was dealt with. So, you know, A.J. Allmendinger got busted for drugs. That was covered. Jeremy Mayfield, certainly all that was covered. So you can't pick and choose what you cover and what you don't. But if Kurt Busch is involved, if he did beat this lady, whom we all knew and liked and thought a lot of, this Patricia Driscoll lady, if he did it and the Dover police have to handle it, then we've got to cover it.
Do you think that NASCAR needs to step in? I don't think they need to step in right at this moment, but if something does become of this, do you think NASCAR needs to get involved in it?
They didn't get involved with Travis Quaffle, and he actually went to court and was, I don't know if he was found guilty or he was plea bargained down to simple assault or something with his wife. I don't even know if they're still together, but NASCAR did not get involved there. So I don't know how they can not get involved. I'm not sure how they can get involved now if they didn't get involved with Travis Quaffle's deal a couple of years ago. However, times have changed, and domestic violence and spousal abuse are a much, much more visible issue now than they were then, in particular because of the Ray Rice situation
and Adrian Peterson
and the guy in San Francisco who beat up his girlfriend or whatever. So, you know, it might be that NASCAR, I mean, what can you do to him? He's a private contractor. He works for Stewart-Haas. He doesn't work for NASCAR.
Okay.
He's a private contractor who pays his membership dues every year or whatever and goes to work. They can suggest that Stewart-Haas might want to deal with him, and they could say it in such a way that means you will deal with it. Sit him out of race. Don't let him, you know, do something at Daytona. He can't practice the first 2 days. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, if it gets to the point of getting on a court docket and actually the judge saying come to order, then, yeah, I'll be up there probably covering it, yeah. I don't, you know, and I talked to some people at Phoenix when it first broke. I talked to some people at Homestead. Quite frankly, between you and me and the phone company or whoever operates this deal, I would not be a bit surprised if he did not rough her up. And that comes from not only me observing him in several moments, particularly at Homestead 2 years ago with Jerry Punch. I have seen him and his brother too often just completely go berserk. I mean, not in a straitjacket kind of fashion, but just lose their cool,
Yeah.
and you think they're going to hit somebody or you think they're going to do something, that would not surprise me a bit. If now, I don't know if he hit her 3 times and blooded her head, and she claims she ran to a nearby motor coach. You know, where did she go? And those people hadn't spoken up yet. We never stepped forward to say, yeah, she came to our coach that afternoon and she was bloody. So, yeah, nobody's done that. She had her son with her. You know, why would you, if they had just broken up the previous weekend, if they had if they had indeed had an acrimonious breakup in Loudon the week before, why would she be going across the Bay Bridge from Washington to Annapolis to Dover and taking her kid with her?
And going to see him, yeah.
Yeah, just stay away.
Yeah.
You know, let things calm down for a week or two. I don't know. You know, I've not been in that situation, so, you know, I don't know what was going through her mind or his mind.
There's more to the story than we'll ever know.
Well, of course there is.
And who are we to throw logic around?
I bet you right now, and I'll bet Roger a free meal, that it will never get to trial. It'll be settled out of court. He'll make a financial donation to that armed forces thing that she sponsors so fervently. She's a real big supporter of veterans, and she runs a veterans benefit political action group, and I'm sure, and Kurt's been part of that. He's helped her run it, and he's helped endorse it, and he's helped draw attention to that. And I suspect there will be, if indeed it comes to that, his lawyer and her lawyer will talk, and it'll be a financial settlement, not to her, but to the organization.
Yeah.
And it'll all go away.
It'll all go away, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, Doc's sitting back here and saying we got to wrap it up, that we talk too much.
What the hell does he know?
He doesn't, I'm telling you.
You're the one that told me, Al, you can't talk all night.
Allie's loading the gun. You gotta go.
28 minutes, that's long enough.
Hey, can you come over next week?
Yeah, Roger will buy me dinner, I might, yeah. No,
What have I not-
Thanksgiving.
What have I not bought you dinner?
Well, Tuesday night isn't, though.
I don't know. We're going to have family at the house starting Wednesday morning, and my wife might want me to clean the dishes too. I don't know. Probably doubtful. But certainly the week after Thanksgiving, I can be there.
Okay, week after Thanksgiving. All right.
Okay?
All right. Well, thanks, Al, for joining us. Have a good night, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Hit speaker. Very good.
Go ahead.
Is it on? Or you push it?
What, you afraid you're going to get shocked or something?
I don't know what I'm doing with that thing.
Neither do I.
I had to drop all of my memory and knowledge of how to work one of those things just to get a smartphone to turn on. So I'm technologically challenged. You know, I was in a restroom the other day waving my hands back and forth underneath the paper towel holder, and then I realized you got to reach up, pull one out. You remember those?
I remember those.
You got to pull it out.
Yeah,
After like 2 minutes of doing this, like
crank.
this thing's broke.
Or the little crank.
What a crank! Yeah. Same thing with the faucet. Handles.
Have you seen the? They actually have now, and I almost bought one just as kind of a gag, where you can the headphones that you usually put in.
Right.
Okay, they got one that looks like a phone now.
So you just walk around holding it?
Holding the phone, yeah. It's got the little thing. So
you do like one for each ear stereo?
Okay.
Who do we got now?
Greg Edwards. Push the blinking
is it
phone
Greg?
line.
Push the button.
We push that one,
Then
and
push
then
the-
we push that one.
Hi. You pushed it wrong.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, man.
Hey, Greg. All right, you did it right. You did it right.
I'll be right back. You handle this, Joe. You're doing good.
Where are you going?
You drank too much Mountain Dew.
You should have cut a commercial break for him.
It's full live, man. What can you say?
He's having a potty crisis. He'll be back in a minute, Greg. How are you, Greg? How you doing?
Hello,
Did you
Greg.
take the red button with him?
I think that's his cell phone.
I think we lost him. He must have the same cell service provider that I do. So, Roger, you gonna give me something to talk about, or should I just stare at the screen blankly here?
Well, I'm trying to get him back on here.
Stand by while we cue the Jeopardy music. Went back on speaker here or what?
Well, hang on, I gotta get him back on.
Well,
What happened to you?
hey, I was there. You were saying I lost you, so I was sitting right here telling you I'm here.
Oh, well, we couldn't hear you. Hang on a second. We're gonna switch over again.
Okay.
Alright.
Push blinking light.
Blinking light, speaker. Is it working this time?
It's working okay.
Alright, good deal. Congratulations on a great season.
All right, man. Thank you.
You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it was just, it was a good season. Sorry, I'm kind of in the middle of something right now. We're trying to get us campground here at Myrtle Beach where we're staying after the race this weekend. We're trying to find parking passes, so we're all good to go. But no, it was a great season. We just, won 8 races.
Excellent.
The second most times we didn't win, and I think the worst finish we thought was a 7th. So we had a great season. I was proud of that. I was proud of everybody on the team that worked so hard, and it just turned out to be a great season. Didn't really tear much stuff up, so I was proud of everybody.
So what do you attribute to this year's success as opposed to some of the other seasons? What makes a championship season as opposed to a non-championship season?
Luck.
Luck.
And for me, it's been that way for a while. I mean, I've had fast cars the past, 4 or 5, maybe 6 years. Our cars have been up to snuff for the most part on speed. And to win a championship, it just takes luck. I mean, you can't have engine failures. You can't have flat tires. We had flat tires this year, spun out in the middle of the field, never hit anybody, and drove up through the field and won races again. So, or just finished the race. So it's a lot of luck. I mean, they can put anything else, and just avoiding the bad luck. A lot of people, like Matt Walsh was a tough competitor of mine, and he had bad luck a couple times. So, the guy who just has the crew that has the right mentality all year long. And I've always say that your attitude is a big thing towards that. Is keeping a good attitude about it and everybody staying focused. And, when you do that, if all the stars line up, you can come in with a championship.
That's why I've always found it's, you have to have good competitive equipment, which, guys like yourself, you've been at it long enough, you're always a front runner. But winning the championships, it was not so much how good your good days were, but how bad your bad days weren't.
Yeah, that's the trick to it. It's just, making the best out of the good days. When your car is good, try to make sure you win. And on your bad days, make it as good as you can. And, get out there at the top 5. So, it seems like it's worked a lot better for me here lately when we're just going out and we try to have fun. And, have fun and winning races and don't worry about, just have a good time, relax. It tends for me to do a lot better that way.
It makes it a lot easier, doesn't it, when you go out there just to have fun?
Oh yeah, man, that's the way it is, man. You got to take the pressure off. That pressure will kill you, and that pressure will drive you to making mistakes. So if you go out there and just do what you know how to do, all the guys have fun, joke around, enjoy yourself, be focused, and be aware of what's going on, but just have a good time with it. This life's short, so you might as well have fun.
And you're going down to have some fun this weekend, aren't you?
We're going to try to. We've won this race one time before. Sure would like to win it again. We had a pretty dominant car the last time I brought this car and bring it down here. This will be the 97 car I won the championship with, and it's been a while since I brought it, but it's always been really fast down here. We got some good notes with it, and I'm looking forward to getting on the track.
Is it the black car?
Yep, it'll be the black 97 car. So the car runs really good at this racetrack, it seems to.
Oh, good. And yeah, like you said, you've won this one before. You got a couple of Langley guys coming down there.
Quite a few of them, actually.
Yeah. I believe that Casey Wyatt's coming down. The Waltz is coming down.
Yep. Kadovic's coming down. Mark Wertz is coming down. We got several guys coming, so it should be a good deal.
How is Mark Wertz as a crew chief?
He was great, actually. He was really, really good. I was happy with
it. Down at I know you actually had a pretty decent run going, didn't you?
Yeah, I think we had a decent run. I mean, the car was pretty good. We had just, we qualified like 15th or so, I guess. It wasn't bad. I mean, I wasn't really worried about that track, about tire wear. And when they actually, when the halfway came up, we were getting over 1 lap from halfway, and at that point, we were the fastest car on the racetrack. I feel like we were just still riding our same pace. I honestly feel like we had a good top 3 or 4 out of that.
Yeah. Kinley's a fun track too, isn't it?
Kinley, yeah, it's a pretty fun track. It's really high bank, you know, for these late models, and you try to work with getting them off the track. The biggest thing is everything wants to bottom out, but yeah, it's a fun track. You know, compared to running a Langley, it's just different. You can really drive the cars way down in the corner, so that's really cool.
What's can you talk about any plans for this coming up year, the 2015?
No, I mean not really, nothing special. We're you know, just typical. I think as far as I know, unless somebody tells us something different, we'll be running for James Long for Langley Speedway, and we may have some other things come up. I'm not sure, but it's just, you know, nothing special. I think all the sponsors are pretty much in check. We're always looking for more, but I think we're good in that situation. So, you know, for all I can see, I think we'll be running for another championship 2015 on Langley Speedway.
So, and I'm sure you'll be competing for it. I'm pretty sure you'll be one of the top 2 or 3 out there. So,
Luck providing.
Providing, yeah. So anyway, we ain't going to keep you much longer. I know you guys are traveling down there and trying to make it down there. So go down and have good luck and happy Thanksgiving to you and everybody.
Okay, you too, man.
And we'll talk to you after. Let us know how you do.
All right, buddy.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye. It didn't blow up.
Yeah.
We'll work.
Could be a slow fuse.
Are we going to get Andy? Or do we miss our...
Andy's going to be at 8.
At 8?
Yes.
8.
Oh, so what are we going to do for the next 12 minutes? You had a good year this year.
No, you got a guest at 7:45.
You don't have to run through my magic tricks?
Do we want to call Sammy real quick?
You forgot all about Sammy? Sammy was supposed to be 7:45.
Well, call him. You got the number?
Then what are you complaining about?
None. Well, I'll talk to Joe. You had a good year.
So yes, we had a great year. I had a great year. We ran 3 different series, finished 3rd in 2 of them, won a championship down at the traveling gypsy tour of
traveling Wilbury show.
That began in Franklin County and ended at A Speedway. That was a lot of fun. We enjoyed that. Racing a mixed division between the Langley style IMCA modifieds with the SKs, I guess you'd call them, the Troyer style cars with the late model stock cars. So we had, like I was telling you before, we had a lot more power than they did, but they could really stop and turn, which is made the end of the straightaway quite difficult once or twice. Sorry to the guys that I kind of ran into.
We had a good looking car, and a car you're familiar with in the modified. You also ran late models at Southside.
Yeah, my first season of, I guess what you'd call Southern late models, the Southside version of it. Lots of motor, a little bit of tire. That was a good season. We finished 3rd in points out there. We were like 9 or 10 out of 1st. So it was a pretty good year. It was pretty good. First year with the team, crew chief, new car,
figuring everything
new
out.
car, new motor, crew chief, owner, new guy. Is just everybody had to figure out what language they're speaking. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Come in and tell them, this is what the car's doing, and they tell you, you're driving it wrong. Oh!
You got Sammy Gaita on line 1.
Okay.
I gotta finish him. I'll get Sammy here in a minute. I'm gonna get him on here.
That was the filler.
I'm gonna give him on here. Yeah, give him some filler. But ran good with the modified. I know.
We got 1 win in the championship, so we weren't that
and then went down to
controversy of almost winning it.
Went down to Robbinsville and snuck one in.
That was good. We ended the season on a high note. Yeah, that track is just I really enjoy that track because it's very tight, very abrasive, and the longer the races are, the better I seem to do there. It's just one of those places that really
you would really do good on dirt.
I clicked that. I'm going back to dirt. I'm going back to dirt. I like dirt.
You got Sammy on now?
Sammy, you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Hi Sammy, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Matt and Joe get on a roll. You know how it is.
So how's things going?
Well, going. I'm working. You're self-employed now.
2014 champion, and you and I have talked about this, and I'll bring this up, and we're going to rub it in just a little bit. Gaita, you're the third generation, correct?
Yep,
Third generation and first Gaita to win a championship.
that's right.
Correct?
Third time's a charm? Is that
Third time's a charm. Yeah. Brother Joe, who runs very well, and your dad's drove, and you've got a cousin that drove, Josh.
Yep.
Yep.
He owns a Chick-fil-A now in
Fredericksburg, yep. So been around it all your life, and snuck a, and you did a very good job with that championship this year, I might add. You did a good job chasing it, and how's it feel like to be a champion now?
Well, I mean, it's really no different. We went home at the end of the year and started working on next year, so we're going to go after it again. But, you know, we had a really good year. We started getting beat around early, and then just kind of kept trying to overcome it and managed to win a few races. And it's pretty stiff competition for a rookie division.
How many wins did you get out? What was your record for this year?
We won 5, and I think we finished second in 7.
So, pretty decent year.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What were the bad nights like? Were they the seconds?
Well, the worst night we had was 6th, and we had a 4th in there somewhere. But most of the time, we either won or finished second. I really can't complain much. I got a real good group of guys with me, and they really do everything. I just hold the steering wheel.
And that's always good to have, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You can't do it without them, and, you know, a lot of people don't understand that.
And you actually had some really good sponsors this year, and we're going to kind of hit on them a little bit and bring them up. Tell us a little bit about your sponsors.
Well, the biggest sponsor we had this year was Brian Grilly, who's a country musician, and he's been on the, I don't really follow the whole chart thing much, but he's been on top of a couple of the, I don't know if they're local or regional or what they are, but he's been on the top of a couple charts, and he's like right on the verge of making the big time. As a matter of fact, last week he was playing shows in Nashville, so I would assume that's going to lead to bigger things for him. And then we had 7 Cities Vapes, which is a newer company that's selling vaporizers for people to quit smoking, and they're over here on Mercury Boulevard. We had Aaron Goodman Photography, which is a photographer at Langley, I mean, kind of self-explanatory. AYSO, which is a youth soccer organization where, you know, little kids play soccer. Their website is aysoregion1310.com. Ride Homes, which everybody who's been around Langley knows who they are, but they're a custom home builder. Who else do I have? I don't remember. I can't walk around the car and look. Of course, my own company where I do decals and shirts and promotional items and really everything printable.
Yeah, and you do a very good job of that, by the way.
I try.
So the one question I ask every champion or every championship winner is, what is or what was your recipe to success this year? What did you do different this year that brought you a championship as opposed to previous years?
I was more patient, and I listened to more people.
I would say you listen to the right people, because sometimes listening to more people can be worse than not listening to anyone at all.
Yeah, and there was some people that came out and kind of came out of nowhere and helped when we really needed it. And they were probably a bigger part of a championship run versus just run every week.
I would say you listen to the right people, because sometimes listening to more
people. One time and said, change this, and we changed it and won the race tonight. So, you know, I really can't complain.
So just getting the whole package together, following the right people, patience as a driver, not forcing the moves, taking what you can get.
That's right. We started the year being impatient, and then
Is that the life?
time went on, I figured out I had to be patient, and I think that really was the biggest part of it, was just not overusing my car.
That's what one of the things I've always felt as a driver was it's easy to teach people to go fast. It's hard to slow them down at times and be patient and wait for the move to come to you as opposed to forcing the move or burning up your equipment.
And I see that in a lot of younger drivers.
Hungry, gung-ho.
Yeah, your Greg Edwards and all that, and Sammy really did too. Sammy came along, and I'm giving you a really good compliment here. He really came along and showed patience, and that's what really got it. And Sammy has gotten to the point where he understands bringing the car home in one piece rather than having to work on it all week because records or checkers. Sometimes that attitude works, but
sometimes it ends up with the record.
So, and Sammy was really good about that. He did a really good job. He knew what he had to do to win races and win a championship. So
Sammy, just to kind of put it in context for things, how old are you, and how long have you been racing now?
I am 36, and I've been driving only the last, 7 or 8 years.
7 or 8 years. Okay,
Yeah.
so it takes.
takes a little time.
At least 3 to 5 to really put that patience together. Usually, when you stop, where you know those first 3.
Or sometimes
I remember a few of my first races. I was my own worst enemy.
You're lucky to make it home.
Yes. After the arguments and the fights and the wrecker.
Yeah, the wrecker. Yeah. See, there you go.
All right.
So. But Sammy, we're not going to keep you too much longer. I want to get you down here. I'm going to do a couple shows this winter, so I want to get you down here on the air. So
yeah, definitely. A sponsor I forgot was Amsoil. They were a pretty big help too. I don't know if anybody runs their stuff, but
excellent product. I've used
very good product.
Well, I put it all in the car, and the water temperature went down 20 degrees.
Yeah.
I really can't say anything negative.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a very good product.
They were one of my sponsors when I was running late models.
So
yeah.
They get a good color scheme too. It's red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue. You can't argue with that. So anyway, let's let you get out of here, and I'll be talking to you soon.
All right, sounds good.
Congratulations on your championship. Best of luck. 2015. Enjoy your holidays.
Appreciate it, y'all too.
All right, take care.
All right, you too. Thanks.
Bye.
We could just call this championship night.
Well, it's like the season. It's the season ender.
Yeah.
My car, there was a couple of modified races like in November, and that the owner's he's out in a tree stand someplace out in Western Virginia. He's hunting. There's no cell service. I'm not calling him because it's cold. I'm done. I've had enough this year. I enjoyed it. We hung it up with a win. That's it.
Yeah, a couple of guys I was trying to get on the show for tonight. Well, I'm gonna be up in the tree stand. I don't know if we're gonna get reception.
Right, yeah,
and that's happening all over the place now. So
well, it's
it's that time of the year.
Well, it's a hectic thing running for championships. And I was blessed with the modified team where I don't have to work on the cars, but they're out there busting it every night, getting stuff ready
on a car every single week.
Either improvements or repairs, and once that season's over.
But now you got the Snowball Derby coming up here down in Pensacola. That's not too far away.
I'm skipping that one. We're not heading down. Well, they run the Florida modifieds down there, which are big and bad in comparison to these.
They're kind of like ours,
horsepower.
Yeah.
And it's notorious.
And then super late models and all that. But then it's we're within 60 days of the Chili Bowl, and then
Daytona,
Indiana, and then you're back into Indiana.
Daytona testing for the
January.
IMSA starts in December.
It's all right around the corner again. It's coming. Not too far. 90 some days until Daytona. So
yeah, I saw somebody starting to count down already.
Yeah.
Which that's kind of early to start counting down, I think. But considering that they're already, they've been stocking Christmas trees since like Halloween, I guess it's right.
I've already seen people with Christmas stuff up already.
I've already heard Christmas music. I walked into 7-Eleven the other day and they were playing Christmas music, and I looked at the guy and I said, "You got to be kidding me."
I'm just.
How you doing tonight, Andy?
I'm doing good. Glad I got this championship so I could join you guys tonight.
It is championship night. Andy Seuss, Southern Modified. It's not your only championship now, is it?
In NASCAR for Modifieds, I got one at Smyrna for the World Series asphalt race and the week-long deal with some go-kart stuff, but kind of my first touring championship.
Now I'm going to ask you, we're going to get to your championship, and we're going to talk a little bit about your season and all that, but I Googled your name last night, and something popped up on YouTube, and I'm going to ask you about this, because I'm pretty sure it is you, but have we done some ice racing?
I didn't actually compete. I was hanging out. I was actually testing a snowmobile for snowmobile racing, and they called the modified class on ice, and that's they run what you run. And the car that I drove was a dirt modified chassis with a wing like a sprint car, studded tires, and then really skinny front tires with a single chain with studs on them to steer, and that was pretty amazing, pretty fun. I only spun it out one time, but you got to figure out how far you can push it. So no shame in that, but yeah, that was some of the most fun I had in a long time. And now with the cold temperatures we're having this week, it's reminded me a lot of being up north.
Yeah, Buffalo. I think Buffalo's having a snowmobile tour this week. Yeah,
they were talking about the snowmobiles getting stuck.
It's
submarine
bad.
snowballs.
When your snowmobile gets stuck in the snow, it's time to just leave it there and fly south.
Wait for the thaw.
Right.
Yeah. When the snow is that deep, you can't stop. You just got to keep going.
It's like surfing.
Long time. Yep, my dad was involved in snowmobile drag racing. Actually set some records and stuff, and that's where his mechanical mind comes from as far as racing. Always been involved with that, but now in North Carolina, focused on stock car racing.
Stock car racing. Do you still get to go up north and do some snowmobiling in the wintertime?
Well, no. My parents own the Rockingham Boat Repair. It used to be a Polaris snowmobile dealership, so we always had snowmobiles around we could take and stuff. And we got away from that when the boating industry got bigger, and we focused more on that. And then it became a time we needed some money to go racing, and the snowmobiles lost out. Not anymore. When you run the season, basically, when you start in speed weeks in February and you run till November, and then you strip the cars down, repaint everything, get your motors rebuilt. There's not a lot of time left over for snowmobiles, let alone the money for it.
Yeah. I hear you on that. We've all felt them woes.
Rent the snowmobile.
Modified Series champion this year. Congratulations, by the way. I know that's a tough series to win one in, let alone win a championship.
For a few years for that.
Do what?
Yeah, it was. We've been battling for that championship a few years. It's come close. We're always in competition for wins, and I think what was lacking in years past was just consistency. Me not driving over my head when I got a third place car, finished third with it. And, just some other things. And obviously, you got to have incredibly reliable equipment. We didn't have any DNF. In fact, the only lap we didn't complete all year was the last lap at Bristol, where we were winning for the South and got spun. So, incredible just reliability from our Raymock horsepower. Everybody that works in the car, no nuts and bolts came loose, everything great. So, I think, when we look back on this year, that'd be the difference from years past.
Well, you're about the third or fourth champion that we've talked to, and the thing that we keep hearing is consistency.
Consistency, luck, patience, and it's a question that I've asked everybody: is what has been your recipe to success to win a championship this year, as opposed to say last year or the year before?
Well, I'll tell you, I might sound like a broken record. It's probably hurt everybody too, but hard work. And you come close. You finish second in points. You win races. You make excuses on why you didn't win. And this year, myself, but the whole team, we had that refuse to lose attitude, and whatever it took to go testing, to maintain our equipment. I kind of restructured my life so I could be in the race shop more, real dedicated, learning more, and I never knew what it was going to take to win a championship. And looking back, I had no clue. I mean, it was a lot, but we just weren't going to be denied. We weren't going to take it easy. And, you know, looking back, as somebody asked me, you know, what did it take to get to this point, it's been hard work. And, some people will never find out how much hard work. Some people don't have the opportunity to work this hard, but I've got a great support system. So I was able to just put the rest of my life aside and focus on this. And luckily it all paid off in the end.
And you're a fan favorite. You actually got most popular driver again this year, correct?
Yeah, I just got that news here a few minutes ago. Pretty incredible, you know, to come down here and, you know, kind of in unfamiliar territory. But I think I've made a lot of fans down here. It's great. You know, Whalen mandates that we have pit parties every race. And it becomes a big family, and you know the people that are at certain tracks, you know the people that go to all the tracks and all the races. And, you know, then you realize that they weren't at the last race. They get to be, you know, just an extension of the family. So to know that we have the support of the people that come out every week, as well as I've always had a tremendous amount of support up north, and, you know, making a decision to come down here. My hometown of Hampstead, New Hampshire, has just been incredibly supportive throughout the year with all the encouragement, and I know they had a big part in winning this award too.
Do you guys end up going up north and running with that northern tour a little bit?
We did twice this year with my own 70 car. Eddie Harvey gave us a Raymond motor out of the number 11, and we ended up with a top 10 at Loudon, and we were running top 10 at Monadnock and had some mechanical issues at the end. You know, when we bring the 11 car, we run top 5, and it's good to know we can go up there where the fields are a little bit deeper and still compete for wins, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's more competitive up there, isn't it? I mean, it's more, I hate to say it.
It's wealthier, I think.
Is it wealthier up there?
The Northern Tour would be wealthier than the Southern, I think.
Well, you know, it's a different form of racing. You know, down here, a lot of the tracks are worn out. They're smaller tracks, so they're about handling, and they're about, you know, being there at the end. Where up north, they're at bigger tracks, so it's a lot more about horsepower, and you said it's spending that cubic dollars on motors, and then you can come in and you can fire 3 tires on. So it's a whole different kind of racing. You know, and I'd like to just point out the fact that there were a lot of northern guys that came down here and didn't beat any of us this year. So, you know, when we go to Bristol and they tear us up, it's not the same as them coming to Caraway or Langston Speedway or something like that. We kind of have to go and run their race the way that they have pit stops, the bigger tracks, where the horsepower really matters. So the competition, I will say our top 5 guys, you know, if you put their top 5 versus our top 5, I think it'd be spread out evenly, say on a newer track that we went to. However, you know, we have 10 cars that could win any given week. They got 18.
Yes.
Right.
So the talent is deeper, the competition is deeper, and, you know, where I think you walk away feeling you did your job with the top 5 down here, you know, it's hard to get that top 10 up there because there's so many good teams.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All the tracks that you've been running at, and now you've been able to go to the north, and you've been able to come down here in the south, and I always like to ask a driver this, what's your favorite track, and what's your least favorite track?
Well, you know, I don't want to say anything about least favorite tracks because I appreciate all the tracks that book a modified race or will have us. So I won't get negative on anybody. There's definitely places I look forward to more than less. And you know, obviously Bristol, just to get the chance to run Bristol. And let me tell you, you gotta pack some extra cojones with you when you go around Bristol.
Yeah.
And yeah, and when you go out on sticker tires, you try and hold that thing wide open. The forces that are against your body are amazing.
It amazed me how heavy my arms felt in the corners.
Yeah, oh yeah, it feels like somebody's standing on your shoulder.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it's getting pushed down in the seat. And it's absolutely incredible. One place that's really, really important to me is Loudon. When I was growing up racing go-karts, I ran at Sugar Hill Speedway about a half hour west of, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And it was one of those things, it was just that was Daytona, that was big time. And I remember racing with all my go-kart buddies on Saturday, and the modifieds being over at Loudon, and we'd have conversations of, wouldn't it be amazing to run one of those cars there someday? So there isn't a time that goes by that I don't go through that tunnel, I don't get goosebumps. And, take a minute to appreciate the fact that I get the opportunity to race there. That's pretty important to me.
I should rephrase that as, what's the least likely place that you like to go? I mean, if you're anything like me, you love going to any kind of race.
It's not because you don't like the facility. It's just there's that one track that's got your number. You got bad luck. You just never figured it out. You never run with a dam there. And
Shenandoah's got my number because I can never go and run up there. But it's a racetrack. I'll go,
Believe it or not, I've had a lot of success and a championship at New Smyrna, but I'll say that place kind of eludes me. I've got a championship finished in second and third all week, and I've never won there.
Yeah, see? There you go.
And I love going. I look forward to it because it's a really racy, fun track. But that's one place that a victory has just eluded me, and I've been leading and had mechanical failures. I've been leading and been wrecked. I've been walking away with only a few laps to go, and a caution come out, kind of change everything. And that's one place that I need to stand in victory lane. I got to do it as a champion, and that's a place, we'll go back to consistency, get championships. That was all about consistency. I didn't win a race that week. But I've driven for several people down in New Smyrna, had good runs in everybody's cars, and I just can't crack victory lane.
But there again, though, you've won championship, consistency. So, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, but everybody wants to stand or hold a checker flag. You need to get the big trophy in the series. You just be
always, exactly.
Beat the crowd that night. Yeah.
Bucket list. Well, let's talk about the future for Andy. Where are you going? What's going on? Are you staying in the modifieds or moving up any?
Well, obviously I'm going to stay with RV and Ideal Racing. We're not sure if we're waiting for the schedule to come out to figure out what we'll do. This championship was a big thing on our bucket list. But so is say, I want a Northern. Eddie wants a Northern. He's from New Jersey. He spent a lot of time on the North Shore with Jamie Tomato. So it may be a deal where we kind of shift focus, maybe part-time with both stores. We want to do NASCAR. It's what you dream of as a young racer, or, the first time I got in modified local tracks is, man, can you ever imagine running the NASCAR sport? And so I don't want to get away from NASCAR. Love being a part of it. But I'm also a very goal-driven person. We won the championship. I don't necessarily need to do it 7 times. I want to do some other stuff. So I want to go and win at Thompson, a Northern Four race. I've won there when we had the South combination race. I've won there in MRS competition. I'd love to go and win a Northern race, and that's going to take a tremendous amount of dedication. Again, we're talking about different strategies, pit stops, horsepower, but that's something I want to do. And, we kind of threw caution to the wind when we moved down here. I didn't really, if I wanted to work on boats and race, locally, I could have stayed in New Hampshire. So the big dream here is to move on and make it to the big track, to Daytona and all that. Just trying to figure out a way to do it. I don't have multi-million-dollar backing, but I got a pretty crazy work ethic, pretty good determination. So we got some things in the works for ARCA and Davey Beyond. I know I can't show up at a team and have the funding that they need, so I'm going to have to make this happen on my own someplace. So just looking at all options, figuring out what I got to have to do, and don't be surprised if you see me pull into a nationwide race with an open car trailer or something crazy like that.
Well, why not? I think that'd be the best thing. I even think NASCAR would even like that.
Well,
I'm not sure they'd let you in.
I got to attempt my first truck race. I didn't get in at Rockingham, but stayed with the team, worked on the trucks, learned a lot about them. And you know what? I was kind of a shy kid and just admitting I didn't know anything about these big cars. And, I was a modified guy, but the more you get to learn about them, they're just race cars. And, you gotta think about aero a little bit, position of the body is a little bit more important, but the fundamentals, all that means, we took a truck that hadn't gotten in previous years, didn't really change much other than some setup stuff, and we had it running top 20. So, definitely something I want to get more involved in. And, if I got to crew or field a vehicle several times to get my own money enough to, be able to drive it myself, so be it. Just, like I said, I want to move on. I want to move forward. I'm very goal-driven, and I don't want to stay complacent.
I hear you. I know what you're saying. But knowing Eddie and the team you're driving for, that's a great bunch of guys. And if I were, just my own personal 2 cents, if I were in your position, in order to walk away from that, it would have to be one hell of a deal. It's not. I wouldn't walk away for a mid-pack ARCA or something like that. It'd have to be something big, something real big, because that's you got a great bunch you're working with.
We've got an incredible team, first of all, and it took a few years to gel. I had some guys that came with me from the Riggs organization when it shut down. Eddie had a good group of guys, and I'll tell you, I'll cite the people on our team again. The car never fell apart. It was incredibly and impeccably maintained. When I'm in the race shop during the week, when I go to the racetrack, I don't get my hands dirty. I sit down and I worry about driving. I worry about relaying information. It's a dream, and me and Eddie have grown very close. My racing's going to be including Eddie Harvey in some way, shape, or form, and we've talked about that. He's the with I Got a Ride for Life. I'm not going anywhere from that. If other weekends create opportunities, and trust me, I know Eddie will have my back and be by my side. He'll be part of it. So, they've got the 09 car, and when they go racing with the 09 car, I'm getting my hands dirty in the shop, working as hard as I can with them too, because the Harvey family means that much to me, and I want those cars to be won too. Of course, I want the Red 11 to be first. Doesn't mean I'm not going to give them a 100% effort when I'm working on their other cars too.
Right. Well, definitely. When you talk to Eddie, send my regards. It's been a while since, but I know the one season I ran on that Southern Tour, he was one of the first guys to walk up and just offer anything we needed. It meant a lot. Being a new kid in town and having one of the big dogs walk over and say, introduce himself and put it out there. That was great. It really said a lot about his character. They're in a good spot, and congratulations on your championship this year.
Thank you very much. And that's how me and Eddie got close to begin with when we were racing against each other. He is the first person to lend anybody parts, the first person to help anybody. He loves racing. He loves being a part of it. He wants to see more teams involved, so he'll help out if we can. And, definitely, I have to pinch myself and step back sometimes to know that, I'm the guy he chose to give a chance to, and we've been able to, make some records and some memories together.
Excellent.
With that being said, it sounds like you're going to go north, maybe some ARCA. What's the final goal? Where do you want to be in 5 years? You're getting up there in age. No offense, but what do you really want to do? What's the final end? Are you going to be happy staying in trucks? Do you want to go run Cup?
I want to be wherever I am. going to be happy with a level ARCA team. Now at first, maybe, as long as we're progressing. You know, I can take chances and I can fail and take credit for it and all that, but I got to be progressing. I got to be moving forward, or I'll have to make a change. But you know, you're absolutely right. With it'd be crazy to if it ever came a chance that I couldn't drive Brent and I couldn't go to Bristol in that week and I had to watch it on TV. I mean, that would be heartbreaking. But you know, in answer to your question, people are going to laugh at me saying I'm crazy, but I mean, I want to go to Daytona, and I don't know in what, you know, aspect or what amount. I don't know if that means, you know, maybe someday in an ARCA car. That means on my way to a cup ride, but you know, just going to be trying to move forward, and I want to race against the best of the best. We can do that in modifieds. I think the talent in modifieds is just incredible. Especially since it's not what I say a driver development series. It's not new faces every 2 years. So you know you're racing against people that have been doing this their whole life, and there's well-established drivers that seem to end up in modified that don't want to be in late models because it's flavor of the week people in it. So, you know, definitely that series is somewhere I could be for the rest of my life and be happy, but like I said, I want to be moving forward. While I am, to correct you, very young. You know, we still got this opportunity to move forward and not going to give up all that. So I don't have any kids or any, you know, people to worry about. Dad basically worries about me, so I got that going for me.
Hey, Andy. Are you going to try to go to do a Daytona ARCA test anytime in December, or are you going to wait off a little longer?
No, there'll be some big news coming out about that, but yeah, we'll be there.
Okay.
There, and
you can tell us, we won't tell anybody.
Yeah, it's not like you're on the internet or anything right now. Don't worry about it.
You know, there's going to be a press release in the next few days, kind of, you know, outlining what's going on there, but we'll be at Daytona with 2 cars with a new team, and you know, again, this racing thing's about money. I don't have the money to race them, so there's 2 cars there. One may be for a driver with the proper funding, and if I can scrape up enough money to do it, you know, it's cheaper to run 2 cars than it is 1.
Right.
So, you know, we're looking at doing something like that. So I will be there in December. I will be there in January for the 2nd round of testing, and hopefully we'll be there in February to see if we can make the field.
Well, we wish you the best of luck down there, and we'll be keeping a close eye out for you. Hopefully you'll, even though you're going to run Northern, we hope to see you in here on the Southern Tour a little bit too.
Well, you'll see me at Langley, because I'm not just blowing smoke. That's the place I like to go. You know, there, South Boston, I really, really enjoy. They're 2 of my favorite tracks, and if we're not doing the Southern Tour full time, we'll definitely be there part time. Well,
good. Good to hear that, and good to hear you like Langley. It's probably one of the most unique tracks you'll ever run on.
You know, it takes the right amount of speed and patience. And,
yeah.
I really like that challenge of the track, and I like just everything about it. It's very racy. If you get your car going good, you can run the outside. You know, we were a little bit off there the 2nd race, but we still finished 3rd. The 1st race got stolen from me on a restart call that I'm not going to agree with, followed by a 2nd restart call I'm not going to agree with. That was my race. But, you know, I guess that means I got some unfinished business, and I'll just have to be there next year.
There you go. That's a good way to look at it. So, anyway, we're going to let you get on out of here and get back to doing what you're doing. And
thanks for calling in, Andy.
And yeah, thanks for calling in, and we'll be talking to you soon.
At least you got a lot more time tonight.
Talking with you guys.
At least you got a lot more time tonight since we had to reshift you.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I can talk all day about racing. You guys probably figured that out.
Yeah, we do too.
We actually could too. We got to stop ourselves actually. So, anyway, good luck, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right, sounds good. Take care.
All right, have a good one.
Night, Dave.
Bye-bye. Any finish-up questions you want for your buddy Joe there?
What are you doing next year? What are you doing next Tuesday?
I don't know what I'm doing in 20 minutes. What am I doing next Tuesday? No, we got the holidays coming up.
Are we going to do a show next Tuesday?
Go see some
And
family.
Wednesday?
Or Wednesday?
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
Well, Larry's going to come in, and I'll see it. I'll call it. We'll do a drag racing show.
Drag racing show?
Yeah, we got Larry, and I know
I can't do drag race. I don't have the legs for it. You know, the fishnets and the heels. Remember the old Saturday Night Live skit with the drag
Somebody
race?
told me you looked good in drag. I said,
I know. Who are you talking to?
You were racing.
Larry,
Why, Roger here? No.
You were racing.
now wait a
down the
second,
street.
and I'm going to congratulate him because he just broke his record that stood for I think 10 years.
Oh, Larry?
Yeah, it was.
Really?
It was
Larry McBride,
576,
Spider-Man.
and he went 574.
That's way faster than I ever want to go on a motorcycle.
Yes. So, and we're going to have him. We're going to have him down and talk to him about it because he's got a set of cojones on him.
Yeah.
They brought the top 8 top fuel bikes down to Georgia, I believe, and they invited the only drivers or the only riders that have been in the 5s, and there was 8 of them, and put them up head to head. So we're going to talk to him about it a little bit. I talked to him this morning. He had granddaughter duties tonight, he said he will come in next Wednesday. So we're going to do that.
Well, that should be good. I'll try to see if I can.
And I might sneak a special
See if I can
guest in.
stream it while I'm traveling or.
Oh, that's right. You're heading.
Good possibility. Yeah, depending
Yeah,
on,
you can watch it on
depending
your
whether
phone.
it does. I'm lucky I can watch my phone on my phone.
This is true. I've tried calling him at night when he's at home.
I have a dysfunctional smartphone operated by a dysfunctional dumb guy. What can I tell you?
You just need a smart operator for your smartphone. That's all there is to it. They need to make a shirt for that. You know that, right?
They make a smart shirt?
No, a shirt to tell you to put on so you can tell somebody, I need one of these.
Right, if you find me, send me home, like a direction call. Now, what are we doing next week? It looks like the same stuff. Late model, Southside, with the CR Phillips electric car.
Modified?
Wherever that kind of goes.
Southside's still racing?
Yeah, Southside. Actually, Southside had really good car counts last year. It's,
I heard they did really
They
good.
really came back around.
Really well.
They shortened up the races and ran every class every night. And it's I said they run a good show. I mean, they open up the gates at 3 and you're out of there by 11, which is most places you're in there at 8 o'clock in the morning and leaving at 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. Man, it's just a long day. And I kind of, as much as I love racing, usually around 8 o'clock at night, I'm like, okay, that's enough racing. When do we start?
Yeah. We did that at Langley. You did that at Langley this year. It was just like,
I always try to have a nice chair to catch a nap in. So I'll be napping at tracks throughout the Mid-Atlantic this year.
At a racetrack near you.
So we'll see where modifieds go. South Boston, I'm pretty sure is going to run the schedule again. I'm not sure what the Moonshine Series is going to do, but if they run, we'll support them because the team I drive for is out that way. Langley's just such a haul for them. It's like a 5-hour ride.
I've heard Kinley is considering doing a modified series.
Kinley, East Carolina's talking about doing once a month, something
East
like
Carolina,
that. So
yeah.
there's enough interest in the class to see where it's going to go. It's just a matter of getting enough guys to band together and actually go race someplace.
Yeah. Dirt, they're huge on dirt.
Yeah.
Clary's and Cotton Line.
I still have some dirt plans to go out this year. That's on my bucket list of things to do is win a dirt race.
That's good part of the bucket list.
That's and that pretty much would finish it, I think. So.
Is that it?
Well, within reason, I'm not going to the Indy 500. I'm not gonna get picked up for Sprint Cup anytime soon. But, I have raced at Daytona and Laguna Seca and Bristol and.
Yeah, you've had some good experience.
I've been kind of all over the place doing it and really enjoyed it. It's been a good ride. It's been a good ride.
It's not over with yet.
5 years. 5 years, I think. 5 years. I'm gonna. I don't want to end up. I don't want to end up running either underfunded or just running a mid pack. I've had a lot of offers from teams, and I always appreciate it. I'm always very thankful to teams that they're underfunded and they're looking for somebody to come in and straighten their program out. And you can just look at it and it's like, guys, you just don't. How do you tell them? I know you're living your dream, but you really don't have the money to do this, and you're never going to win like this. And I'm and you know as well as I do when you get out there and you're in one of those mid pack cars, that's when you get hurt. That's when you get banged up, you get wrecked, you get beat to death. We were in that modified series, the Wheel Modified series, just running in the middle of the pack every week. God, you take such hard licks, and somebody misses a shift in the third row, and man, you're airborne, getting walloped, and just.
That or you don't have the funding to go through the car and make sure the car's proper, and you're
always
kind of
rigging something, jury rigging something, trying to make it work.
Creative engineering.
Yeah. It's just
it's not worth it.
At my stage in my career, it was great this year. We won another championship. I think that's like 8. I don't know. I lost track of wins, somewhere between 200 and 300. I've done what I need to do, except for the dirt win. I gotta get that dirt win.
You can get it. I'm
gonna get the dirt win. I just gotta put the car together and go out and enjoy it. But I'm having fun, and that's pretty much the way it goes. Now, just it's the love of the game. Enjoy the sport.
Still,
Yeah.
So. I got him. He's good. If you're going to be going next week, let's bring you back in 2 weeks.
We'll talk about it in a week and a half.
Okay, I can do that.
Sorry, I'm playing over here with the...
Love to come back. I enjoy the show. I always enjoy being out here. I do have that civilian life work schedule. We've got to be up at dark 30.
No military now.
That's
go out and work out in the cold.
I'm officially a retired coastie.
Yeah.
Officially a veteran, member of the VA. So I don't enjoy the cold weather anymore.
Who does?
There were a lot of sudden stops during my military service that really protest the cold weather.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So several years ago, I made a move 5 hours south. I should have flew. I drove. So next time I'm going to fly 5 hours south, and that's it. I'll serve slushy drinks in front of a straw hut somewhere.
That's going to put you to Bahamas.
My career plan. I'll race turtles.
Vroom.
Then I just sit back and watch them race.
Direct TV, you can sit there and watch the races.
Right.
Like
I'll call in. I'll try to stay in the same time zone for it. Okay?
Alright, let's get out of here. I'm hungry. You're buying dinner. Where are we going?
Everybody.
I like that. We're out of here. And on that note, tonight's sponsor, which also just seems to really fit the attitude to this place, Goof Off. So we're turning the goofs off. Did anybody pick up on that one?
Oh, God.
I didn't. That's good.
Actually,
You're one of the goofs. You wouldn't pick up on it.
Behind you on the wall.
My
Oxen Hotspot. Let's talk racing.
Let's talk
PC
racing.
Doctor.
If your PC's broke, you're probably not watching this. So telling you to dock in the PC dock in Newport News is the best place to fix it. Maybe one of your friends will tell you. If you got a friend who's PO'd right now because he can't watch it because his computer's screwed, call Doc.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
See you later.